Hello, how are you today? My name is Shannon and this is my Knitter's Life series on my YouTube channel, Whiskey and Wool. Welcome! I'm so glad you're here. I wish I had some really great updates to share, but I don't. I have been pretty busy with work and I'm always knitting, so there's always a little bit of knitting, but I don't have any big finished objects this time around. So yeah, I'm gonna just get into what I have been working on, and a lot of this will be maybe a little bit of recap or showing you progress on my whips. I do have a very exciting new whip to share in my next cast on with me, or I will have a new cast on with me, a new project to cast on very soon. So it's looking really good. But anyway, let me talk you through my current projects, my current whips, and I might share little bits and pieces of what's happening in my life. It is I live here in northern New Jersey, and it's where I work and live. I live right across the river, the Hudson River from New York City, and you probably saw a clip at the beginning of this episode of that view. It's beautiful, never gets old for me anyway. So yeah, that is what's going on here. This is the Albers vest. I wanted to just show you progress. I did split for the armholes since we last talked, and I've knit, well, here's where the armhole split happened, right here on this black and white stripe. So I've knit 2.5 stripes, I'd say. Nope, 3.5 stripes. So far. I'm actually about an inch or maybe 1.5 stripe repeats from where I'm going to do the front neck. And the back is on hold. This is such a slow knit. I really love the fabric when I get it on Martha. Martha's my mannequin, she's my size. When I get it on Martha, I get really excited about it and happy about it, but this has been on the needles a very long time. I actually looked at my cast on date, and it's been 2 months since I cast on, which is really crazy. A crazy long time for me. I can knit a sweater in a month, even a fingering weight sweater. 6 weeks at the most. This doesn't even have sleeves, and it's just dragging. And I think it's because of a couple things. I love it. It's beautiful. Pattern's well written, no problem. This is a vest. I'm not going to be making sleeves, so it seems like I'm really close to finishing, but I'm not. It also feels like a really long, steep hill to climb. And I was going to say, I think the reasons are that the needle size is a US size 3, which is a 325 millimeter. And the color work is it's regular stranded color work. It's just that there's every 4th row you're purling in the color work, and that is just slow for me. So as soon as I get to that point, I have to pay attention to what I'm doing, and I need to pick up and put down the yarn. And I know a couple people had some solutions for me to go faster, and I just haven't had time to review those or to practice them. I just haven't had the bandwidth, because my job is, I work in academia, and so my job gets really overwhelming throughout the month of September, which we just got through. And usually October it kind of slows down a bit, but I think due to some changing roles that I have at work, I'm not experiencing the slowdown like I usually do. Maybe it's coming. It is Jewish holidays right now, and a lot of our faculty, not students, but faculty, are Jewish, so and they tend to make work for me. Um, everything kind of slows down during holiday time periods. So I don't know, maybe it'll get better in the next couple weeks. I hope so. It's been a lot. So I haven't had the bandwidth is the upside. I also think, so I had been planning on making this much longer and like probably a whole nother repeat section longer. But I changed my mind because I do think the stitch pattern is going to grow when I block it. I'll probably end up with like a length like that, which I think is fine. I also changed my mind because I'm just tired of this project. I need it off the needles. The pattern has you do the front first when you split for the armhole, and I really wish I was doing the back first. I know I can still do the back first because I think I've done it. I think it's crafted exactly the same. The reason I say I wish I was doing the back first is because I think that would give me a better idea of where to do the neck drop for the collar. But I mean, I don't know. I'm almost there. I'm just gonna keep going. Oh yeah. All right, yarn. Let me just review the yarn real quick in case you are curious. Where's the yarn connected here? Oh, it was on this side. Hang on one sec. Got hung up on a pin in the back. Okay. The green, the beautiful variegated green, is this like turquoise and olive and bright kind of neon-y green with black speckles. Looks so good. I love the way it looks in the fabric. I'll take some footage of some close-up footage that I'll also put in here of the fabric because I don't think you're really seeing the colors all that well. Anyway, this is GarnStory by GarnStories. It's merino sock base. It's superwash. Just a sock yarn. So pretty. The black is by Les Garçons, and it is leftover yarn that I had from a vest I made last year. It is actually a sport weight, but it's working just fine. I ended up actually being a little bit bigger than gauge, but not a whole lot. Right, so this is called Moira's Black Rose from Les Garçons, British sport. It's really nice, rustic in all the good ways. Yarn is rustic, but still quite soft. And my white is a combination. I'm holding 2 strands together of a fingering weight, a 2-ply, pretty sure it's 2-ply, fingering weight from Green Mountain Spinnery. It's their Lana base in the colorway Blanco. And I'm holding a strand of mohair, and this is from Webb's. Webb's is a big yarn store in Massachusetts, in like central Massachusetts area. This is their house line, I'm pretty sure. It's a silk mohair, like 72/28, typical. It's a little rough on the hands, but when it's washed, it's nice and soft. So I think that's pretty common with mohair that is less expensive. Mohair, the 72/28 mohair, when it's washed, it gets much softer. Yes, it feels a little rough. It's actually rougher than this. But yes, I'm holding 2 strands together, and the reason I'm doing that is because I had done this before with a different mohair, but this same wool in another sweater, and I really loved the effect of it. I think it adds a nice bit of texture and a little bit of extra warmth in a really cool, interesting way. What else can I tell you about this pattern other than it's real slow to knit? I love it. It's by, I forgot to say the designer. It is Claire Mountain. There's a third name. I don't recall what it is. She's known as Sister Mountain on Ravelry and Instagram. So you can check her out. She's a pretty interesting designer. She's got some really, I like her aesthetic, the aesthetic of her designs. I'm having a little water. today because it's still quite warm here. We're having a mild day. It's probably like 70 degrees Fahrenheit out or so. It was chilly this morning. I freaking loved it. I have all my windows open. And it was like so cool in the house. I actually baked bread this morning, so it was really nice that the house was cool because this apartment, I live in an apartment in an old Ritz-Carlton, was former Ritz-Carlton hotel. It is it's a brick building. It retains the heat really well, or retains whatever the temperature is really, really well. So it could be, if it gets warm in here during the day, it stays warm through the night, unless I have fans going and stuff. Oh God. Okay. Perils of apartment living. All right. Got an update on my Stowaway by Wool and Pine. I'm not to the exciting color work yet, which is good because this. I'm really hoping that I finish this. I want to finish this soon. I vacillate between wanting to just only knit on it and just crank through it and try to crank through it and get to where I just I'm like, yeah, I'm going to finish it. And then my energy to knit it flags and I put it down and knit other things. But anyway, this current knit is this one that I'm going to show you is my current easy to knit, stockinette, mindless knit. And this pattern is all over, or body is in stockinette, just plain stockinette, and then the sleeves are color work. So I just wanted to show you that I made it to the armhole. It does have a drop shoulder design, so you can see on my shoulder, my actual shoulder is here, right? Yeah, so it goes quite a ways down my shoulder. I modified the neck a lot compared to the pattern. The pattern has a very open neck, and I didn't want that. I just don't like wearing sweaters that are like that unless, if it's gonna be a pullover, I don't really want it to be like a big open neck. I think if it's a more fashion forward kind of body, then sure. Or like a summer knit, sure. But for winter or fall, I prefer a closed-in neck. So I made quite a few modifications, and they are on my Ravelry project page if you're interested in seeing what I did. But I can tell you that this is top down, of course, as you can see. And it is, and that little stitch marker is just showing where I split for the sleeves, just to help me when I'm measuring from the armhole down to know where that is happening. What was I saying? Oh, so I actually did, when you're knitting top down, I started to shape the back neck, and so that what you're seeing as a front neck was supposed to be the back neck, and I didn't even finish all the shaping that it was asking for. I stopped because I was like, this is a lot. This is a big drop in a back neck. And then I was looking at it and I was like, this looks like it should be the front neck. So I just stopped doing the decreases, or the, what were we doing? Increases. I stopped doing the increases because it was top down. So they were increases, not decreases. I just stopped doing them and decided this was going to be the front and knit the distance I needed to, and then went back and did the back. And what I decided to do for the back, there's this section that I would say is about 6 rows. I'm not sure exactly. Plus it's a paid for pattern, so I don't want to tell you exactly, but I would say it's around 6-ish rows of where you're doing short row shaping. And I realized, when I was knitting, what became my front, that those short row shaping rows were enough of a drop for the back, and yes, enough of a drop for the back, and I didn't need to do any more of a drop. You do come back and knit the collar. I after I got down to the armhole split, I went back up and knit the 1x1 rib, just because I wanted to see how it was all going to look. And of course it's going to block out wider than what you're seeing and more open than what you're seeing currently with this unblocked version. But I really like it. I love this color. I think it's really a good color for me. And I'm excited to get going on the color work. I guess technically I could start the color work whenever, because I passed the sleeves. I passed the armhole. But I'm really enjoying having a nice DK weight sweater on the needles that's just stuck in it because it goes so fast. In fact, I actually had about probably 3 more inches knit than what you see here. But what happened, I know you remember this yarn if you've been here. I am working with Qing Fibre Dashing DK base, which apparently they no longer have. It's 100% superwash ultrafine South African merino, and it is 100 grams, 220 meters. And it's the colorway yellow, which is a colorway that Layla of Qing has in her line all the time. I've seen it for several years, and I just decided to way earlier this year. I just decided to pick up some for pick up a sweater's quantity. And I was planning to make the Traveler, and it turned out that I just didn't buy enough yarn, because I bought enough yarn for what I thought I needed for a DK weight sweater without looking at that pattern's yardage in particular. And if you were here a couple months ago when I was knitting the Traveler, I ended up frogging that project, and part of what I did when I was trying to make the yardage work was I pieced in a multicolor yarn, and I ended up blocking, and a lot of the, not a lot, but like where the multicolor yarn met the yellow, there was a little bleeding happening. So I'm getting to why I frogged a bit. So it turned out there was this strand of a couple yards that had pink spots on it, and it made like this line across in my knitting, like just pink spots happening every few stitches. So I knit this a lot in the evening when I'm watching shows or talking on the phone or whatever, and I saw it, but I didn't think it was that bad. And one day on a weekend, I was in the bright sun like it is right now, I was looking at it and I was like, oh no, that's bad. It's a line, like you could see a clear line. And I ended up just frogging back and cutting away that strip of yarn and just knitting again. There was one, I think I'll show you so you get an idea of what, yeah, there's one pink spot that I think you can see it. It's right there, right by my finger here. So that, it's pretty faded. That was a couple rows back past the line, so I ended up just leaving it. I thought it won't really bother me, and it doesn't. And it may wash out. I don't know. I don't know if it will or won't. But also, just so, because I frogged the Traveler, when I frog, I don't re-soak the skeins. I just ball them up and that's it. So there is a bit where, like, the top of this sweater I knit with something that had not been balled up, and then I switched to one that had been balled up, which is why you're seeing a rather smooth top half, and then suddenly, like along here, it starts getting kind of rumpled. That's why that's there. But anyway, enough about that and my tales of woe. Really enjoying knitting this. I want to say it's knit on size 6 needles, US size 6. I cannot recall, and it looks like the etching has been rubbed off on these needles. Oh wait, no, there it is. Size, yeah. Sorry, size 5, 3.75 millimeter. But yeah, enjoyable and excited to have this in my wardrobe when it gets to that point. I'm not going to get into the yarns that I'm using for the color work. I'll show you those when I get there. Have it in my really cute new Halloween bag from Amy of Fat Squirrel Fibers. I love this bag so much. It really goes more with that, but it's whatever. It is where it is. Okay, one more whip. This is my so-called travel knit. So this is the knit that comes with me when I head out of the house in the morning to work. I am working on some shorty socks for one of my sons. I make socks. I'm actually working on the heel. I'm making the Bear Paw Sock by Andrea Mowry, which is a DK weight sock pattern, and it's a 2x2 rib with a fleagle heel. So I'm working on the heel right now, so you can kind of see how that would be. I want to say I'm like 4, maybe 5 rows away from finishing the heel. This is for one of my sons. I make socks for all my sons and their partners. And this is for my kid whose feet are size 13, so they're really big socks. They're taking me a little longer than what I normally take on socks. But yeah, I often do this for I love DK weight socks. They're my favorite, and they're my son's favorite as well. So I have 3 boys, and they are all partnered, and one has a little girl, my granddaughter, who's so cute. Oh, so cute. She is about to turn 4, actually, which is pretty exciting. Sorry, little tangent there. But I often do this for my DK weight socks. I grab a fingering weight skein. This is Magpie Fibers. This was a one-of-a-kind from a Advent countdown, holiday countdown calendar that they did a few years back. They do them every year. This was in their first mixture. It was really nice because you didn't get yarn every day, and when you did get yarn, it was 50-gram skeins. This was the last skein though in the countdown, and it was a full skein. So anyway, I'm holding 2 strands together to get to DK, because that's what DK stands for, double knitting 2 strands together of fingering weight. You knew that. I know you knew that. But I love that because, like I said, I love knitting DK socks. And yeah, so holding 2 strands together, I'll have plenty of yarn as I'm making these shorties. I don't even think I'm halfway through the skein yet, even though, despite the fact that this is a guy with big feet. Yeah, so Magpie Fiber Swanky sock. Did I say it was Swanky sock? Yeah. It's their Swanky sock base, which is an MCN, 80% superwash, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 400 yards. Actually, 400 yards, I'd be hard pressed to make this guy socks with any sort of leg. Like, the leg would end up being just a few inches because of the size of his foot. So when I do want to make him full leg, like a 6-inch or so leg, I need to make sure I'm using yarn that has enough yardage for that. But I decided this year to make all the boys shorty socks because I noticed that they tend to wear a lot of shorty socks. So yeah, there's sirens going off right now. I'm not sure if you hear them. I have some spinning to talk to you about. I have some clips actually to show you my progress. I took some clips of my progress spinning the latest combo spin that I did. So I'm gonna have you watch that, and then I'll have you come back and hopefully the sirens will be gone by then to see the yarn.
I wanted to show you the combo spin I'm planning to do before, so you can see the fiber before I start making it yarn. So these are 3 that are kind of blue, purple, coral, sorry, not coral, golden rust, like sort of this peachy color, that I thought would work really well together in a combo spin. So they are each 4 ounces, I think. Yes. This is Corriedale from Angel Locks. This is dyed roving merino, I think, 100% merino, yes, by Green Goat Ranch. And this is BFL from Into the World. I think that's a Johnny Cash reference. I'm not sure. But you can see I've had this fleece for some time. And yeah, the prices also reflect old days, because 4 ounces now is more like $26 to $28. All right, anyway, these 3 are going to become a yarn. We'll see what happens, and yeah, I'll let you know. I wanted to give you a little update on the combo spin that I'm working on. I have 5 bobbins spun. I have a 6th bobbin of this fiber right here. This is 100% merino from Green Goat Ranch. I made a decision though. This is BFL from Into the World. I'm gonna take this, which is 100% Corriedale from Angel Locks, and it's a gradient. So it goes from a deep dark indigo blue on this bobbin to this yellow to a shades of blue to yellow, shades of yellow to this deep dark rust color. I was gonna apply these 3 together, but after the last couple weird gradient effects on my 3-ply combo spins, I decided to take this out. I'm gonna take this gradient and do a chain ply, so it'll still be 3-ply, but it'll be a 3-ply unto itself. And chain plying will keep the blocks of color lined up, and then this will make a really nice cowl or a pair of socks or hat down the road. So I went stash diving to see what I had that could be the 3rd ply in this combo spin, and I found this. So I think this will be a nice counter effect to some of the stuff that's happening in these bobbins. So this has like a kind of, I don't know, cheese doodle or cheesy color with a deep dark purple and this sort of, slate blue color. And then you get the gradients between in the spin. And this one is a more blue toned purple with peach all the way through, and some white. So white helps create shades of these 2 colors in the bobbin. So I think this will be a nice effect. This is more the red side of purple, some gold, and a lot of white, which should do the same thing, 2 gradient colors. And I think this is staying in the same family. I did unbraid. I don't know what I just flashed you with right there. Probably Eggy, who's sitting on my bed supervising. His name is Egg, if you haven't been here before. Short for Aegon, which is a Game of Thrones character. And yeah, so I unbraided one just to get a feel for the effect. And it's, like really splotchy color-wise. So I think this will be really nice. And I actually have, this is also Green Goat Ranch. It is Rambouillet, so I have a package here. It's Rambouillet wool, and it's based on The Witcher. It was applying pair. She sold these as applying pairs, where this braid was put with a deep dark blue, kind of like this color, that was semi-solid, I'd say. And I'll use those for something else. But yeah, so I have 4 ounces. So each of these were 4 ounces. So I'm going to do another 4 ounces. I think you're really getting a deep dive into process on this combo spin. Okay, so when I last left off, I was telling you that I was planning to, here, we'll put these like every other. I had 2 bobbins that were a gradient spin that I decided not to put with these other 2. And I needed a third one. And so I pulled out this fleece here from some of my stash, and I spun a little bit. I spun 1 piece, and I was looking at it and realizing that it's really not going to look good. I don't like this. This is like a third color that is just doing, taking it in a direction I don't want it to go. So I had to go digging in my stash again, which you're seeing a bit of here. So this is that one. So I'm going to put that aside. That'll go in something else. The problem is that I'm running out of bobbins. So I have to make the right decision now. So I think I'm going to go with this. This has it's mostly gold and white, and it has a little bit of that blue toned, like this color in there. I think that'll be nice. My other option in this bag here is some semi-solid and solid deep dark purple. I don't really want purple skeins, like dominantly purple skeins. I mean, this bag right here is set up to be a purple batch, like just purple. Fine. I have a lot of purple roving. Something's happening over there. My cat is right there. He puts himself under the blanket. He loves it in the morning. It's his routine, but he's doing something. He keeps jumping. Cat interlude. Yeah, so that I think is going to be enough for me. I basically grouped all the dark purple together in one bag for a combo spin in the future, along with this like blue to purple bat. So it'll have some variation, but it'll be predominantly purple. So I don't want another group that's predominantly purple. So I think this is the way to go. I mentioned before I have a lot of brown toned fleece and such. So this will, this will distribute it a little bit. And I've already gone through, you can see in this is just one of 2 bins that are full of combinations. Oh, cat interlude. Full of combinations for combo spins. I paired up my stash. So I pulled these golden, sorry about that. I pulled these golden toned braids out of this bag here, which actually has some of this in it already, along with a braid from Olan, which has very, very close colors and tones to this. So I think what I can do, take this batch of 4 ounces out of this bag, this goes in, and then I have 7 bobbins though, and I kind of want to just keep using them and cycle through them. So yeah, so I think this is going to be the answer. I hope I don't spin a bit of this and then go, oh no. Because then I'll really be stuck and I'll have to think about offloading onto toilet paper rolls or things like that. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, so first let me show you this chain ply that I ended up making. I freaking love it. It's so beautiful. So this was made from the Angel Locks Corriedale, 100% Corriedale. That was dyed in a gradient, and yeah, anyway, this came out so good, and I think it'll end up being a really gorgeous hat or maybe a cowl, but the colors, I don't know if you can tell on the skein, but the colors will line up, and they should go like like you're seeing gradient blues right here, and then it'll go to yellow, and then the yellows go into like shades of rust, like, which I think you can see here. So I don't know if that's really, if you're seeing how this will lay out, but this should lay out really nicely. And the colors won't repeat over and over. It's one repeat. So it'll be the shades of blue going into the yellow and then fading out into shades of this rusty color. So it should be, that'll be fun. I have to think about what I want to do with that. And then my combo spin, where I pulled in a third fiber bump, I think it came out so good. I really, really love the way this one looks, and I think what I achieved is that Into the World color really took dominance, like dominated the way this looks. And that Green Goat Ranch purple to peach fade really complemented the colors that were going on in that, and then the other color just kind of gives this really neutral background with pops of gold. So I think it came out great. So I ended up with actually two really fat skeins. These are each about 150 grams. This is a true DK. It is a 3-ply true DK weight. Yeah, about, I want to say around 700 yards. And then I ended up with one little mini skein when I ran out of one of the colors, the Into the World color I ran out of, and this is the other two colors put together, with 2 strands of that purple peach blend, because I had the most yardage of that from when I did the singles. But yeah, so I ended up with, you know, this is all my spinning this month. Because of all the stops and starts, it took me a month. I started this on September 1st and I finished just a couple days ago. But I really do love it. It's just so pretty. I'm really struggling a bit with my fleece because I have so much, like what I have in my stash, and it's not because I stashed it, but more because these are the skeins that got left behind. Some are really cool and I like them, but I really love bright spinning projects. I like bright colors. I just like bright colors, generally speaking. And the more moody, earthy colors aren't my thing. I like to have a couple base neutrals in my wardrobe, but those aren't the colors I reach for again and again, with the exception of black as a neutral. I love black. I will always wear black. So a lot of what I have in my stash to use up is stuff that's purple or earthy tones, because those are colors that I don't, and reds, like there's a few reds, but I think those are mostly done. Like I did the last combo spin had a lot of reds in it, so I think that went, but I still have a lot of purple and a lot of earthy tones. So I talked about this last time, but I did buy a bunch of yarn, a bunch of fleece to give me some variations of, I bought 3 braids from this company to give me some variations and to kind of break up the neutral earthy tones that I have, to kind of bring some interest, some color interest for me, like personally for me. I mean, because neutrals and earth tones might be your thing, but they're just not something that I enjoy working with to, you know, day in and day out. A little bit here and there I'm fine with. But anyway, this is a new to me indie dyer, small batch indie dyer. She's in Virginia. I don't know the dyer's name. If I knew, I forgot. But it's a company called Yarn Jam. This happens to be 100% merino, and it's a 4-ounce braid. Really gorgeous, blues and greens, right up my alley. Some bright turquoise in there. I bought 2 other braids, which I'll show you soon, because they are I already sort of figured out what I'm gonna use those for, what I'm gonna do combo spins with them. I think I have about 7 or 8 more combo spins to do, to just spin through all the fleece that's been lingering in my stash for a few years. And doing these combo spins is a way to get yarn in the weight that I like to knit with, but also to just crank through these fleeces that I've had stashed for some time, and they just need to be made into yarn and get into either my hands to work with or other knitters' hands to work with, whether I donate them or gift them or sell them, because I have sold some as well. So yeah, so that's the point of all of these combo spins. I don't think I've talked about it in a while, and there might be a few new people here who maybe don't understand why I'm doing this, but I love 3-plies. I really love the plump roundness that you get with a 3-ply. This is a 3-ply. So I can do 3-plies. I've done many 3-plies. My default weight of a 3-ply tends to be a sport weight. Sometimes it'll get as thin as fingering, just depending on the fineness of the fleece I'm spinning, and occasionally it plumps up to a DK. So, and I'm fine with that. Like, that works for me. So that is why, so if I did a 2-ply, it would almost always be like a light fingering weight. So it's just better for me, I think, to land in that sport. I think sport is the most versatile because it can be pushed to work in a DK weight pattern, or it could be pushed to work into a fingering weight pattern. So I really like spinning that weight. And I do think this spun out, pretty sure this is a sport weight. Because I remember thinking to myself when I checked the thickness of this skein, I was like, oh, this is DK, and that was unusual. So I wanted to remember to tell you that this is a DK weight. I really do like this, even though it's like neutral and purple. I really like it. Yeah, we'll see. I don't think it's necessarily for me, like my colors, but it is pretty. It'll definitely go with my sons, especially one of them is a little more sallow than the other two. And these shades of purple look so good on him. They just really make him look refreshed and energetic. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like his color. So this may end up being for him. He's the one with the big feet. Oh, also, I wanted to just share that along with the 3 braids, I did get a really cute little stitch marker from Yarn Jam. So it was really a nice surprise. Oh, her name is Trisha. It says, hi, I'm Trisha. A yarn obsessed indie dyer, knitter, crocheter, spinner, and graphic designer. So yeah, there you go. I did get a little bit of other fleece that I want to share with you to be spun up down the road. I saw that I follow Wing and a Prayer Farm. I just love everything about that account on Instagram, and Tammy White, the owner of Wing and a Prayer, is just such a lovely human being, and the way she takes care of her animals is like amazing, just like how you hope all animals are cared for. So I saw that she was having a sale, so I picked up a nice fat bag of some naturally indigo dyed Cormo. So it's like a nice gradient. I ordered 300 grams of this, or no, I think it was by 4 ounces. So this bag is 234 grams. I weighed it when it came here. And weirdly, this might be a quality thing. I don't know a lot about Cormo. I ended up with So this is 8 ounces, and then I ended up with another 4 ounces of some other type of fleece, I'm pretty sure. I do not think this is Cormo, but it is definitely a different quality than that bag. I ended up separating them. It feels like it could be Shetland. I'm not sure. I would have to pull out, you know, do some real... Actually, I could just email her and ask her. But I'm pretty sure this is not Cormo, unless Cormos come in drastically different qualities. Yeah, I don't know what this is, but it has like a very definite different type of hand. Definitely more rustic feeling. So I was actually thinking I might put this with this. Instead of comboing this with this. I have to do a little test spin and just see, and then wash it and see what happens, because fleece changes so much when you wash it. So yeah, I'd just be curious to know how it feels after it's been spun into yarn. So yeah, that was a little bit of a surprise. I was like, oh, what happened here? It might just have been, it might just be like a different, maybe this was one sheep and that was another, I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, it's not terrible feeling, it's just drastically different from this. This is super soft. And this is more like what you'd feel like a Shetland. It feels like Shetland. It feels like Jameson and Smith Shetland. That's what it feels like. So, anyway. That problem for another day, because for now I think I'm gonna just keep spinning my combo spins, because I did go through and I pretty much parsed out all of the, like, put together in trios all of the single bunches of fleece that I have on hand. The other fleece that I took out of this combo spin, that like kind of red, purple, gold braid, I'm spinning that now. So that's going into the next combo spin. And that actually, I have 1.5, I have enough for 1.5 bobbins for that. So, so it'll be half of what I spend next time will be, or 2/3, I guess is probably the way to think of it. 2/3 will be those colors, and then there'll be a third strand that's going to be a darker, a color, a red purple that blends really nicely with those. So that should be pretty nice, and I hope it doesn't take me a month, because if it takes me a month to do all of these, I'm not going to be done with my combo spins until April. Ugh. Yeah, I hope it doesn't take me that long. The only other thing that I've been up to on a personal level, I've been thinking a little bit about Rybeck, trying to figure out what I want to do. I am definitely going to Rybeck. I'm going to Rybeck on Saturday, because I like to see people, and there's a lot of knitters that show up on Saturday. So there's knitters that I'm friends with, that I've been Instagram friends with or Ravelry friends with, that we will connect. So if you're planning to go, I would love to hear about it. You know, DM me, I guess, is probably the best way. DM me on either Instagram or Ravelry. Ravelry is probably the place where I am the most versus Instagram. Just, I don't really like the algorithm and the way it works anymore. So I struggle with remembering to go look at Instagram and to post. Yeah, so Ravelry is a good place to reach out to me if you're on Ravelry. But if you're not on Ravelry, then please reach out via Instagram if that's better for you. If you're planning to be at Rybeck, maybe we could run into each other. Either organically is fine, but if you want to, you know, say a time that you're going to be on the Knitter's Hill, we could do that too. Swing by and say hi. I have to try. I haven't looked at anything, so I hope that I will I'll be back next week with a cast on with me to show you my next project. And I don't know if I'll be back with one of these. The next one of Knitter's Life may be the Rybeck, where I do the Rybeck review recap. Yeah, that's probably likely, because I have a couple personal things happening too. Just things that I'm doing with family and friends as well. So complicated. I was gonna say the only other thing that's been going on is that I am planning to have my kitchen redone, like gutted and re-outfitted, because I don't think the kitchen has been done since the building converted to apartments, and which was in 1980, the late 70s, 1980. I think that's when the kitchen was done. So I think I have basically like a 45-year-old kitchen, because a lot of the materials look like they're from the early 80s. So I'm going to have the kitchen gutted and I'm having it redone in the new year, I hope, sometime in the new year. It just depends on the timing of all of the hoops I have to jump through in order to have work done in this building and line up all of the contractors. So yeah, that's been fun. I'm in the design phase of that, and I don't really have anything I can share right now, but maybe in the coming weeks I'll have more. I have a good idea of what they're going to do with the space. My kitchen's kind of small. It's 8 by 10. And it has an awkwardly placed window, which we're trying to make into a feature. And I think the designer I'm working with has got some great ideas. He has one in particular I love, so we're probably going to go with that. He's waiting on me to pick out my appliances and stuff, what appliances I want, so then he can finish up the design process and show me pricing. So yeah, I'm scared but also excited. That kitchen is gonna fall apart if I don't do something about it in the next few years. And I just keep my fingers crossed that my appliances are like this. My apartment was a rental for the last 20 or 30 years. And it was in bad shape when I moved in, because the previous owner did the bare minimum. And one of the bare minimums that she did was she put in the very baseline, cheap as hell appliances. So I have the crappiest oven, I have an okay fridge, and I have the crappiest dishwasher. So I just keep my fingers crossed that those things don't break, because I don't want to have to replace those just to throw them out again. Because I won't be... I guess, though, I could replace them with the new things that I'm planning to buy. I guess that would be possible. So, yeah, that's on the horizon. Should be interesting. I don't want to move out for the work to be done. So I'm going to be setting up like a mini kitchen right actually in this area where I'm sitting. And yeah, I mean, in some ways life will stop while I do that, in terms of like what I can do at home. So I may be eating more takeout or, little meals, stuff like that. So but totally fine. I forgot to say where my t-shirt's from. It is a new t-shirt. I got it from a company. I want to say it's called RH Sign. But if you like it, if you've been reading it, I just really loved the sentiment. I saw it on Jennifer Lopez in an Instagram photo, and I loved it. So I literally just Googled the saying, and I found the company that makes it. So I ended up buying it that way. Yeah. Anyway, you can do the same if I forget to put where I got it from down below. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. This is a little bit of a short one for me. And I will see you next week with a cast on with me. I'm definitely planning on recording that because I can't wait to work on that. It'll probably mean this becomes slower, so this may be hanging around till early November. Who knows? I hope not, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, take care. See you soon.